The Nigerian Senate laments the abandonment of Joseph Wayas' remains in London morgue. Hello everyone, welcome to Newsport TV. The prolonged internment of former Senate President Joseph Wayas remains in a mortuary 14 months after dying in a London hospital has drawn the admittance of guilt by the Senate days ago. On November 20th, 2021, Wayas, a senator during the Second Republic, passed away. His body was interred in the hospital morgue. He had been a patient at the hospital in London. A motion put up by Senator Ssed stated that the Senate and the federal government should feel embarrassed by the delay in the former Senate president's burial 14 months after his death. He consequently called onto the federal government as a matter of urgency to evacuate the remains of the deceased from the London hospital mortuary for a befitting burial in Nigeria, just as he also called for his immortalization. He suggested that the Senate urgently take over the burial plans of the deceased to save the country from further embarrassment. Bassey said it is very worrisome and embarrassing that 14 months after the demise of the former Senate president, his remains still lie in the morgue in the UK. The Senate needs to, as a matter of urgency, intervene by taking over the burial plans of the deceased. In his remarks, the Senate President Ahmad Lawan said the delay in the burial of the former Senate President 14 months after his death was very embarrassing to the National Assembly and the federal government. He said, "This is not a good commentary on us as a country. Unfortunately, to stop this type of embarrassment, an attempt made last year for presiding officers of the National Assembly to be given medical support for life by Nigeria was rejected by us during voting on Constitution amendments. The embarrassment at hand with the Joseph Wayas remains call for reflection, and I hope the 10th Assembly will do the needful." So, let's take some comments. Somebody said, assuming he didn't belong to the religion he belongs to, he will have long been buried. Another said, Peter Obi and other Igbo people should act on this issue. Don't you have shame? No matter what, this man was your leader and he should be treated with dignity in death. Obedience to daddy. Another said, you know, get family, don't waste our resources on burial when the living soul are in abject poverty, another way of siphoning our money. Another said, his children are not responsible. If he has responsible children and family, they won't be looking up to anybody or organization before they bury their dead father. Another said, feeling of entitlement. Is the family expecting a national burial? That is a corrupt mindset. He ate Nigeria when alive and still want to be buried with slaying. Another said, now this then they call double wahala for dead body and owner of dead body. Another said, so he has no family? What a shame. Majority of you will end up like that. You want medical report for life? Another said, useless set of Nigerians call and address as senators. If a retired civil servant died on that nature, will you senators say anything about it? Come to think of it, if late Senator Joseph Wayas and his Looters Association in 1979 to 1983 had done well in Nigeria, would he not been buried without any form of challenge? Police army officers who died in the course of defending or policing Nigeria in Sambisa Forest, who cares? I'm not biased, I'm not sentimental about it, but functional questions must be asked. So I want only intellectuals to react on my comments, not religious or ethnicity, mental personality, or political thugs, boys, cultists to comment, because this set of Nigerians I mentioned have nothing to offer. Another said, the reason I prefer Muslims in everything. This should have been a thing of the past. Another commenter said, I guess the family don't want to spend their money to bring the cops down here. He was a Senate president before, so they want the federal government to do that for them. It has nothing to do with religion. Another said, that's where the Senate got it all wrong. They abandoned their priorities on the living and directing their attention to the dead. So shameful. Okay, so these are the comments, and actually The question one will ask, of course, someone can have attained a particular position as maybe a president, a senate president, even a local government chairman or a state government, state governor. When the person is gone, of course, the immediate loss is felt by the immediate family. And so the question is, why did they not take charge about it? Did he at any point approach, maybe in this situation, the Senate for help? And if they did for 14 months, there are some situations when some members of the family feel that, maybe there's no need to bring the corpse back home, possibly due to the cost of doing that or whatever. They'll rather choose to inter the person over there. And also, he's been hospitalized in London several months or years before he passed on. So as a family, mentally, for a man of that age, it would have been a kind of discussion or mental readiness that if this happens, what will be the next option? Now, to have the body of Joseph Wayas still there for 14 months in the morgue, abandoned there, in quotes, by the Senate, is quite unsettling. Also, the fact that his wife, Abiola Wayas, also passed on barely a month after her husband died in London. His wife, who, they've been together for several years, they've had a good marital relationship. And so when her husband passed on, and this was heard as well to say, okay, what kind of thing is this? Sometimes when you have H people pass on like that, their spouse might not be able to contain it and they pass on almost immediately. Specifically, she passed on about 12 days after her husband passed on. So now that 14 months after his death, nothing has been done about the burial, I think, the family should take responsibility because it's their primary responsibility to take care of him. And of course, he has children. So the question is, what are his children looking at? Have they totally abandoned themselves, abandoned their father as a national person, even in death, when the Senate is refusing to even do anything in that line? What's your opinion on this? I think, everybody deserves a kind of dignity after demise as a sign of respect to the dead, which we Nigerians and Africans pay a lot of attention to. People are respected, and they said, we don't talk negatively about the dead. Some quarters believe so. And so we just believe that everybody's going to go that route one day, no matter how long. And so we should hold that part sacred, where we can honor the dead by giving whatever befitting burial that could be done. So for the Senate to now agree that this has become a national embarrassment and that the National Assembly should find something to do about it, let's wait and see what they are going to do about it. Of course, which has to be in collaboration with the family members. But honestly, nobody deserves to be abandoned like that as a corpse in a morgue, especially outside the country. What's your opinion on this? Please drop your comments in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. To our existing subscribers, thank you so much for joining. And to our new subscribers, thank you for always stopping by. We'll see you in the next news. Have a lovely day, and bye for now.